Howdy. Yes, sir. I'm the man that called about your Craigslist ad. Yeah, I'd like to take a look at them, maybe pick one, see if we can work something out. Okay. All right. I'll follow you. So I'm gonna be real honest with you. I'm not really feeling any of these. They got this Oreo vibe going on, and it kind of weirds me out. You got any others? Okay, awesome. Let's take a look at those. So I'm pretty sure these are literally the same. Right behind you. Whoa, whoa there. I'm kind of more looking for one that talks a lot of and never backs it up. You got any of those? Now I gotta say, those right there, I don't even know what that is. Oh yeah, that's the one right there. Yep, the one that pissed himself as soon as he saw me. I'll take it. Woo, buddy, we eating good tonight. What's going on, Canes fans? I've got a belly full of well-done steak, and I'm ready to talk some football. But before we do, just two quick announcements. I've set a personal goal for myself and this channel to hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of the season. And I think that we're off to a great start because we're only 2.5 weeks through September, and we've gained 510 new subs so far this month. And right now I'm sitting at roughly 24,500. So only 500 more to go for 25K. And we'll do something special when we hit the number. And also, do not forget about my fan call-in show happening this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And the score prediction contest is up to $250. So all you have to do is call into the show, predict the correct score for this game, and the $250 is yours. And someone has won in the past, so it is possible. And I have this weird feeling that it's going to happen again really soon. That or I need to run to the bathroom. It's a 50-50 at this point.
Everyone leave. I have to poop.
But let's dive into this game. And boy, do I have to say, there's way more hype going into this one than I thought there would be. Both of these fan bases are at each other's throats on social media, and both fan bases are very confident that their team is going to walk away victorious on Saturday. USF even announced that seats in the upper west deck of the stadium will be open because they're seeing a record demand for student tickets. Now, that section is typically closed off for USF home games. And to give you an idea of how much we're talking about here, I believe the record for student tickets was around 8,409, which was set in 2023 against Alabama. And at the time of filming this video, 13,179 student tickets have been claimed. I guess that's what happens when the number 8 ranked Miami Hurricanes roll into town. Am I right? I do have a question for Canes fans, though. How many students do you think will be left, especially in the upper deck, by the time the fourth quarter rolls around? Let me know.
Empty.
What about the football side of things, though? Well, USF does love their quarterback, Byron Brown. This guy is 6'3", 225 pounds. He's threw for 448 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Those numbers might sound a bit low, but he's also rushed 46 times for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. He likes to run the ball, and he does it well. He actually leads the team in rushing and averages around 5 yards per carry after contact. They also have 3 veteran running backs, 2 graduate students, Joyner and Wright, and also a senior, Keith. Those 3 have combined for 513 yards and 9 touchdowns, and this is obviously a good thing for them to have that much experience, because we're going to talk some more numbers, but they love to run the ball. When looking at their run-pass ratio, it's 143 runs to 89 passes so far this season. And if we take a look at Miami, I'll put something up here on the screen so you can see the comparison. It's 102 runs to 109 passes. Much more balanced for Miami. Now, I usually remain pretty objective in these preview videos, and I'm going to continue to do that. But I can't help but mention the fact that USF fans do have me scratching my head a bit this week, because it seems like a large part of their confidence comes from the fact that USF hung with Alabama for 3.5 quarters, a game that they ultimately ended up losing 42-16. And don't get me wrong, that game was close for a very long time. I'm pretty sure most of us here watched it, or at least saw the highlights. We know the story that played out in that game. But if your biggest argument is that you almost beat a team, that's kind of weird, isn't it? They've spent a lot of time arguing with me personally on social media about our strength of schedule and how Miami has beaten no one so far this season. But then they fail to mention that their 2 wins so far are against Bethune-Cookman and Southern Miss. I will give them a bit of credit, though. This will be Miami's toughest test so far this season. Emphasis on so far. And speaking of the Canes, they beat FAMU and Ball State by a combined score of 118-9. So beating teams that are bad in the way that we should be beating them. I also have some good news for you, because it looks like that left tackle Jalen Rivers and right guard Inez Cooper should both be good to go for this game, which we're very excited about. Now, unfortunately, it still looks like at the time of filming this video that Ruben Bain and Damari Brown will be out, but that was expected. And you know what? I'm actually glad that Miami ended up facing some adversity last week. I know it was some pre-game adversity with that 2.5-hour weather delay, but the team showed that they were still able to remain focused and go into that game and take care of business. Still a little bit of a slower start than what most Canes fans would like to see, but they were still able to push through and get the win. But let's take a brief look at the history between these 2 teams. Miami and the Bulls have faced off 6 times in total, with Miami leading the series 5-1. And the most recent matchup was back in 2013, and the Canes won that game 49-21. And you know, I really am glad that these 2 teams are playing this season, because we talk about all of the trash talk and things that have been going down on social media, and I didn't realize it had been so long since these 2 teams have played. USF and Miami need to play more often, because the dynamic between the fan bases here, the going back and forth and the heated talks, we need more of this. I'd also like to show you some average stats so far this season for both squads. And coming into this game, USF is averaging 38 points per game, Miami 53. Points allowed against them per game, USF 23, Miami 9. I'm kind of speechless here. A single-digit number here for points allowed against them. Yards gained average USF per game 425, Miami 609, and yards allowed against them per game USF 350 and Miami 189. Now, what's not shown on here is that USF is averaging 269 yards rushing per game, and Miami is only giving up an average of 66 With that being said, this is going to be very fun to watch. How about next up we jump over and I give you 3 keys to a victory for both of these teams. And let's kick it off with the Miami Hurricanes. Coming in at number 1, I know this might come across as a shocker, but slow down USF's rushing attack and make the game one-dimensional. Basically, force them to throw the ball. Brown's completion percentage is right around 56%, and he's thrown for under 200 yards in every game so far this season. Number 2, air it out. USF's defense gave up 397 passing yards to Southern Miss last week, a team without a potential Heisman caliber quarterback. It should be no problem for Cam Ward and the Canes. And lastly, this sort of pairs with the first one, but keep the Bulls in 3rd and long situations. It's going to be tough to convert them if you rely on your run game so much, and stopping the run is one of Miami's strengths. Now, I do anticipate Brown moving the chains a few times with his legs because this guy is athletic and it will be tough to fully shut him down all game. And they know that Miami knows that he's going to run the ball. So I'm assuming that they're going to get a bit creative at times. Next up, 3 keys to a USF victory. And coming in at number 1, the Bulls have to play 4 quarters in this one. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. There are 4 quarters in a football game. You got tired and discouraged against Alabama, and they ran away with it late. Miami has also been super physical with opponents, and the competition just can't seem to hang by the time the 4th quarter rolls around. Number 2, quarterback Byron Brown will have to be more accurate when under pressure. If Miami does, in fact, slow down your run game, USF will be forced to pass more. This Miami D-line has been living in the backfield all season so far, and Brown's completion percentage when under pressure is only 35.7%. And lastly, I think to have any shot of winning, USF will have to score upwards of 35 or more points. We know this Miami offense has been putting up big numbers, and I don't think that stops this week. You know, I think it's about time to talk numbers. That's right, I'm talking about a pick and score prediction for this game. But first, let's jump over and ask my dog Max for his pick this week. All right, guys, it's time for Max's official pick this week, and he goes with the Canes. What a good boy. That's a real smart doggo right there, picking Miami over USF. But as you can see, we're keeping track of our picks throughout this season, Coop versus Max, and I want to see who gets closer at the end of the season. I'm currently sitting at 3-0. Max is at 2-1. And the way this little graphic works is the W or L stands for if we picked a win or a loss for Miami. And the check mark means we got it right. The X means that we got it wrong. But I think it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty here and give you guys my pick and score prediction for this one. As always, I like to take a quick look at the ESPN matchup predictor, which has Miami's win percentage chance coming in at 85.2% and USF at 14.8%. Now, FanDuel, at the time of filming this video, has the Canes listed as a 16.5-point favorite, with the over-under coming in at 65.5 points. So they think that there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, which is understandable. And I've been thinking about this one a lot this week. I want to make sure that my fandom doesn't get in the way. I'm also trying to make sure that I'm not letting USF fans get to me. And what I mean by that is me throwing up some big, crazy, wild score just to try to throw it in their faces. I'm very confident in this score prediction this week. However, I'm going to give Miami 38 And the USF Bulls, a whopping 17. I do have Miami winning by 21 points this Saturday, 38-17. Let me know if you think that I'm crazy. Hear me out for just a second. I do believe that this game could possibly maybe be close. But only a very small part of me thinks that that's the case. I think that what Miami does really well is almost a perfect counter for USF. This team will be Miami's biggest test so far this season, and I think that they are an okay football team. I don't think that they can hang for 4 quarters. I do think that they're going to be able to run the ball at times, but I don't think it's going to be well enough because look at Miami's run defense, look at the defensive line. As long as they can slow down the quarterback in his run game, it's game over. If we force them to pass, they're just not going to be able to compete with Miami in this game. I think that this game honestly is a recipe for disaster for the Bulls. They're going to pack that stadium. And I think there's actually going to be a strong showing of Miami fans there as well. But I think they're going to pack that stadium. And I swear, I'm telling you that in the fourth quarter, that place is going to clear out. And you're going to see all of these social media accounts deleting tweets, disappearing. I hope that some of them actually own up to it. And they come out and they say, wow, we were wrong. Because I love the trash talk. But the sheer amount of USF accounts, they're just spewing nonsense and believe that they're going to win this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns, blows my mind. Miami honestly could end up beating USF worse than Alabama did when we're talking about final score. But we'll see. We'll see, man. Let's chop it up down in the comment section below. Let's see if any USF fans show their faces here on this video. I don't know. Maybe there's at least a couple of them. But we'll see. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.